Subscribe and like this video, more interesting revenge stories of elderly people coming soon.
I used to command rooms with silence. Now, I sit in silence and no one notices. My name is Justin Volkov. I'm 74. I live alone in a house the world forgot, at the edge of a city that once trembled at my name. The floors creak even when no one walks on them. The wallpaper peels like skin. Yet everything is clean, obsessively clean. I still press my shirts, polish my shoes, make my tea with precision. A man should always maintain his standards, even when no one is watching. Especially then. My children, their successes by society's definition. A lawyer. A startup genius. A university dean. They have money, cars, and voices that echo in boardrooms. But when they speak to me, it's like a public service, polite, brief, distant. I get birthday calls that sound like HR reminders. They send me gifts I don't need, and never ask what I want. The grandkids. I know them through Instagram. Perfect smiles, designer clothes, vacations that cost more than what I lived on in my 20s. They visit maybe twice a year. One of them once asked if we had Wi-Fi. I told him no. He said, figures, and went back to scrolling. No one listens. No one sees. At the grocery store, I wait while they serve people who came after me. The cashier forgets my change. I correct her. She sighs. Sorry, Grandpa. As if being old makes you wrong by default. In the waiting room at the clinic, they talk about me like I'm not there. Is he lucid? Does he need help walking? They ask these questions over my head, never to my face. And every evening, I sit in the same chair, draped in the same plaid blanket, drinking the same Earl Grey, watching the same muted television. Muted, because I already know what they'll say. Everything is noise now. Shiny, fast, soulless noise. My only real companion is my notebook. It's old, leather-bound, thick pages, heavy. It doesn't talk back, but it remembers everything I write. And I write a lot. Not stories. Names. Times. Faces. I don't cry. I don't rage. I sit. I think. I remember. They think I've disappeared. That I've been folded into the invisible layer of society where old men belong, politely ignored, harmless, irrelevant. But they're wrong. I am not harmless. Not anymore. There's something burning again inside me. Something I buried long ago. At first, it was a flicker, a twitch of disgust when my son called me outdated. Then, a flash of heat when I saw the nurse roll her eyes. Now, it's a fire. Controlled. Quiet. Hot. This isn't about being loved. It's about being seen. I gave this world everything. My youth. My strength. My loyalty. And now, the same world crosses the street to avoid me. They all think I'm done. But I'm not done. I'm watching. I'm remembering. And I'm no longer forgiving. There was a time, not that long ago in the measure of a man's soul, when my voice alone could decide futures. I wasn't born into power. I clawed my way into it. One calloused hand, one sleepless night, one fight at a time. In the 1980s, when the bones of the old world cracked and the new one was too fragile to trust, I was already building. While others hesitated, I moved. I founded Volkov Group with nothing but grit, instinct, and a Rolodex full of favors no one thought I'd collect. I remember the long nights at a wooden desk with papers stacked like city blocks. I remember the cold coffee, the threats, the negotiations that lasted until sunrise. I remember shaking hands with men who would slit your throat the moment your back turned, but I never turned my back. I learned early, control the room, or the room controls you. I wasn't cruel. I wasn't even ambitious for ambition's sake. I built for others. For my family. In the 90s, when the world was chaos, I kept ours in order. Food on the table. School fees paid, even if I had to mortgage the house a second time. When banks wouldn't lend, I went to people who didn't write contracts, just took your word and maybe a finger. I never missed a payment. My children don't know that their degrees are stamped in blood. Mine. They've forgotten. Or maybe they've chosen to forget. They talk about their grind and their startup hustle as if they discovered work. They post inspirational quotes I once whispered to myself under collapsing ceilings. I gave my daughter a safe world. She returned the favor by correcting my grammar at dinner. I saved my son's business from going under once. He called me, a bit old school, last week, said I should let go of the past. The past. The past is the only reason they're standing where they are. My old partners, the few who aren't buried or bankrupt, don't call anymore. We fought wars together. Market takeovers, legal ambushes, hostile acquisitions. I was their sword. I was their shield. Now, I'm a ghost in their contact list. I used to be a lion. Not the kind that roars, the kind that watches. And I still watch. From this creaky chair. From behind the glasses they think mean senility. They see age spots and gray hairs. They don't see the mind beneath, still sharp, still cruel when needed, still capable of reading the board 10 moves ahead. They think I've been declawed. They forget, lions don't lose their instincts. Just their pride. Pain doesn't always scream. Sometimes, it whispers. It hides in details. Small, deliberate cuts that don't bleed, but rot. 2 weeks ago, I called my son. Just a simple call. It rang 4 times. Then voicemail. I left a message, voice steady, it's your father. Nothing urgent. Just wanted to hear your voice. He never called back. I told myself he was busy. Maybe he forgot. But the next day, I saw him post a story, some rooftop bar, clinking glasses, laughing into the camera like time was his servant. I wasn't part of that world. I wasn't even a ghost in it. I was nothing. A few days later, I asked my grandson, the older one, 16, full of sarcasm and sneakers more expensive than my pension, to help me fix my TV. The sound wouldn't work. He came over, spent 3 minutes scrolling, then gave up. You probably pressed something wrong, he said. It's old. Like, really old. I thanked him. He didn't hear the way my jaw clenched when he left. At the clinic last month, I tried to explain a pain in my chest. The young doctor, early 30s, clean sneakers, a man bun and the smugness of a TED Talk, didn't let me finish. We'll schedule tests, he said, already writing, not listening. He turned to the nurse. Let's get the old man taken care of, yeah. The old man. I used to negotiate mergers that saved industries. I used to look men like him in the eyes and make them sweat. Now I get treated like a confused pensioner who wandered in by mistake. And at the store, when my fingers, stiff with age, not weakness, dropped a bag of rice, 3 people walked by. One even stepped over it. No one stopped. Not until a little girl, no more than 7, tugged her mother's coat and pointed. The mother picked it up for me. Smiled with pity. Pity is the final insult. But I didn't get angry. Not yet. I wrote it down. Every moment. Every face. Date, October 9th. Time, 16:41. Location, pharmacy. Incident, ignored by staff, condescended by cashier. Repeated transaction errors. I roll noted. Date, October 12th. Time, 18:22. Subject, D. Volkov, grandson. Incident, dismissive, sarcastic. Left task unfinished. No eye contact. Each one is a data point. A measurement of decay. They think I'm fading, drifting into irrelevance. But the truth is simpler. I'm watching. I'm documenting. They think I'm passive because I don't react. But you don't flinch when you're building a dam. You just wait for the flood. And the flood is coming. Because pain, real pain, doesn't break you. It sculpts you. It turns your face into stone. Your silence into strategy. They gave me their indifference. I'm returning it in kind, shaped, sharpened, and weaponized. They will not see me coming. But they will feel me. It happened on a Tuesday. They always say your life changes on the big days, anniversaries, funerals, birthdays. No. Real shifts happen on a Tuesday, in the middle of nothing. When the sky is gray and people are rushing nowhere. I was walking home from the market, paper bags in hand. My back hurt. My knees ached. But I refused to take the cab. I still walk. Always have. That's my line in the sand, one of many. At the corner of Ballin and Fifth, the right bag ripped. Cans rolled onto the sidewalk. Apples tumbled into the street. I reached down, slow, methodical, trying to collect them. A group of teenagers laughed behind me. I ignored it at first. Then one of them said, too loudly, "Dude, he looks like he's melting. Why is he even out here?" Another snorted. Probably lost. Or forgotten. And that word, forgotten, it wasn't just a word. It was a dagger. Because it was true. Because it was how they saw me. Not with hate. With something worse, absence. Like I didn't exist. Like I was just a glitch in the background of their perfect little world. No one helped. Not even the men in the suit who stepped over my can of beans like it was trash. And in that moment, something inside me, something ancient, buried beneath decades of obedience, sacrifice, and self-restraint, clicked. It was not rage. It was clarity. I stood up slowly. Left the apples where they were. Walked home with one bag, not looking back. When I entered my house, the air felt different. Not heavy, focused. I locked the door. Turned off the muted TV. Took off my coat. Folded it. Set it down with precision. Then I went to the safe. The one behind the bookshelf. The one no one knows about, because they all think I'm too old to remember codes. It opened with a smooth click. Inside, my old notebooks, backup drives, business cards, the analog bones of a past life. But more importantly, I found the black phone. No apps. No GPS. Just numbers. Old numbers. Numbers that still matter. Numbers that owe me. And I remembered, I wasn't a businessman. I was a tactician. A kingmaker. I didn't survive by strength, I survived by leverage. People forget that I built systems, not just companies. That I brokered trust, not just deals. I remember who cheated on their taxes. Who took bribes. Who lied under oath. They think those secrets died in the 90s. They didn't. They're all here. In files. In notes. In memory. I sat at my desk. Opened the notebook. Page 1, prioritize, those who forgot. My son. The one who now sits on a board I helped him get into, with the help of a loan from a man I once bailed out of jail. That man's number. Still works. My daughter's husband. The one who cheated on her with his intern, and begged me for silence. I kept the screenshots. The doctor with the man bun. I know where his second clinic is. The one he doesn't report to the tax office. They all made mistakes. And I, the forgotten, the harmless, I remember every one of them. I am not going to scream. I am not going to knock on doors. I am going to pull strings. Quietly. Relentlessly. They will never know it was me. But they will feel the collapse. And when they reach out, in panic, in desperation, in sudden humility, I will answer with the silence they taught me. Let the game begin. I strike from the dark. No threats. No fingerprints. Just a tilt of the world, subtle at first, then catastrophic. The lion doesn't roar. He waits in the grass until the prey forgets he exists. And then he moves. Target 1, my son. Alexei Volkov. CEO of a boutique finance firm. Shiny suits. Preaches about ethics on LinkedIn. I remember the night he cried at my kitchen table when his company was under audit. I made one call. A favor owed. The audit disappeared. He never asked how. He never said thank you. 2 weeks ago, I reconnected with that old contact. Let's call him Mikhail. Retired now, but still well-connected. I sent him a bottle of 20-year-old scotch and a note, time to open old drawers. Alexei received a letter from the commission last week. A quiet reopening. Not an attack, an inconvenience. His CFO quit yesterday. HR leak. One of his interns filed a formal complaint. No big headlines yet. But the cracks are forming. And the walls of glass he built his life on, they tremble when the wind rises. Target 2, my grandson. Daniel. The one who called my TV too old to fix. He's a youth ambassador for a global brand. Contracted influencer. I watched him mock me with that arrogant smile. I also watched his live stream last month, where he used unlicensed music. I recorded it. I found 6 more violations. I filed anonymous reports to the licensing agency, then sent the footage to a tabloid reporter through an encrypted email. Last night, he lost the sponsorship. The brand issued a statement, "We are committed to ethical standards." Daniel posted a video today, almost crying. Said he was misunderstood. Blamed the algorithm. He's learning now. Consequence has no age. Target 3, the doctor. I called in a different favor. A woman I once protected from a scandal. She works for the Health Regulatory Board now. She agreed to a surprise inspection. Let's just say, his second clinic. Not quite up to code. It's under investigation. His voice on the phone was different this time. Meek. Confused. But I didn't answer his second call. Let him feel it. I watched the ripples spread. Each one precise. No violence. No chaos. Just exposure. People ask what power looks like. It looks like someone picking up a phone and ending a career, without ever raising his voice. The best part? They don't know it's me. But they suspect. They feel the chill down their spine. The quiet dread that something is out of place. They look at their calendars, their inboxes, their headlines, and they feel me moving just outside the frame. And that's enough. Because fear doesn't come from the attack. It comes from not knowing when the next one is coming. They used to call me father. Now they call lawyers. They whisper in corners. They knock at my door. But I don't answer. Because silence is my voice now. And doubt is my revenge. The house is quiet again. Not the silence of emptiness. The silence of completion. There's a strange stillness that comes when the storm has passed, and left only the wreckage of illusions behind. My illusions, their illusions. All of it, burned down to truth. They came today. All of them. It started with a knock. Then another. Then voices. My daughter, my son, their spouses, even the grandkids, awkward and unsure, shuffling behind like shadows. They came into my house like people entering a church they forgot how to pray in. No one raised their voice. No one dared. They sat in the living room. On the edge of their seats. Like strangers on a train headed to judgment. Alexei looked at me, pale. Not defiant. Not angry. Exposed. He asked, "Was it you?" I said nothing. My silence answered louder than any confession. He looked down. His hands trembled, not in fear of me, but in fear of what he had become, and how long it had taken him to notice. My daughter tried to talk about moving forward. She said we should heal. I smiled. Not warmly, not cruelly either. Just with a kind of sad clarity. You don't heal a wound you pretend never existed. You don't fix a broken clock by painting over the cracks. The grandkids didn't speak much. Daniel met my eyes for the first time in years. Really looked. He looked away. And I understood, the lesson was received. Not in pain. In realization. They stayed for an hour. No one touched the tea I'd set out. When they left, they didn't hug me. But they didn't look through me anymore. They saw me. That was enough. Later that night, I opened my notebook one final time. The last page. I wrote. This was never about vengeance. It was about the truth they refused to see. They treated my silence as surrender. They forgot silence is where power waits. I am not bitter. I am awake. Let them remember this. Old men do not fade. We watch. We wait. And when the time is right, we remind the world what it took to build it. I closed the notebook. Placed it on the shelf. Then I poured myself tea, hot, strong, steady. Turned on the TV. Sound on this time. Because now, finally, they're listening. The END, but the echo remains. This concludes Justin Volkov's transformation, from discarded elder to the mind in the shadows. A warning. A symbol. Not of cruelty, but of quiet consequence. The ultimate message. Never mistake stillness for weakness.